Hello and welcome. It's been quite a while since I went live, so I'm extremely excited to reconnect with you all. I was on a little trip for almost 2 weeks here in the Bahia region in Brazil. We went to Chapada Diamantina National Park, where we saw such incredible things. Valleys and mountains and literally places which are over 800 million years old. 800 million years old. Can you understand what that means? When I heard that, I was like, it's impossible. The beauty of those places, that's where the gemstones come from, crystals come from. Here is one of them. Agate rose crystal. How gorgeous. And this is not 800 million years old. This is even older. Like, it's crazy. I have to watch the movie Jurassic Park. So, and by the way, Bahia region, just the state of Bahia is as big as France is. It blows my mind. Brazil is so freaking massive. Huge. Anyway, so in this live, I want to talk about something so dear and near to my heart because that has become my lifestyle. I literally live this way. It has become the jam. It has become such a magical way to live life that I couldn't have ever even imagined was possible. It changed everything. Every single thing. And that is, as I call it, intentional surrender experiment. Maybe you know of the phrase surrender experiment. If you have read the book by Michael Singer, The Surrender Experiment, where he talks about how he literally decided to never, ever, ever say no to anything. To not have any preferences, like, oh, I like this, but I don't like that. Oh, I like pasta, but I don't like pizza, if there are any people out there who don't like pizza. I will just surrender to whatever life throws at me and see what happens next. And that is really such an magnificent way to live life, and I definitely recommend reading Michael Singer's book. But here's the thing. In my opinion, you certainly need to be intentional, because that is when you live a magical life. That is when you create magic. That is when you align your entire life, your business, your relationships, your lifestyle with your soul's blueprint. Because if you don't, then life just happens to you. And life passes by and you look back and you're like, oh, well, it just kind of happened. I know when I hired my very first coach back in February 2018, that's when I started realizing, oh shit. Actually, what happened in my life was just kind of a coincidence. It's like, whoops. Whoops, it happened. Hi, Tommy. So good to see you. When I started working with coaches and I started reflecting on who I am, how did I get here? It was like, oh, oops. Life just happened this way. It just unfolded somehow. It just happened to be the case that I have been in a relationship with this person, that I studied this stuff in the university because I got accepted, that I had a job as a project manager because, well, I guess that's where I go because I applied to this job and I got accepted. It just happened to me. I surrendered, right? And that is precisely why I want you to be extremely intentional. Extremely intentional. But here's the thing. A lot of individuals fall into the trap of becoming too intentional, becoming too controlling, becoming too mental, too rational. Some of my clients, especially one that I have in mind, or a few, a former Navy SEAL, as well as another one who is in the media industry, entertainment industry, movie production industry in LA. These two individuals are so incredibly smart, intelligent, and so rational and controlling that it was holding them back from truly enjoying life, from engaging deeply with life, from following their hearts. They truly actually didn't even know what that meant. To be in touch with who they are, to be in touch with their hearts, to be following their inner guidance, to be listening to their intuition. So they were out of touch, not really communicating with their bodies. And so life, again, instead of being completely surrendering to life, they were like, oh, I need to control everything. I need to control tomorrow. I need to control what happens in 10 years. I need to control how my children are behaving. I need to control how my wife or husband is behaving. I need to control how my employees are behaving. I need to control the weather. I need to control the economics and politics and this and that. And it's also not fun. So how do you find the middle ground? How do you find the balance between intentionality, between having some control, knowing where you're heading, having goals, having a vision, and surrendering to life, playing with life, dancing with life, listening deeply, noticing signs and synchronicities? This middle ground is exactly where it becomes so freaking exciting to be alive. So freaking exciting. My very first realization, I didn't realize until relatively recently that I lived this way, this intentional surrender experiment way. I only realized it last year in May 2023 when I got this invitation from, at the time, a complete stranger that I met on LinkedIn, and I started collaborating on YouTube for just creating some awesome teachings. An amazing human being, but I barely knew him. And he was like, why don't you come to Brazil? I was like, what? Are you crazy? Why would I go there? I'm happy in Portugal. Well, at the time, everything was falling apart in my life, literally. My relationship of over a year collapsed. I had to move out from my home of 2.5 years. I didn't have a place to stay, a good alternative. It was right before the summer season, and in that area, in that region in Portugal, it was the worst time to search for a permanent place to live. And I really didn't want to go back to Lithuania, not even for a little while. And so I was like, I mean, everything is collapsing, but I really don't see the point of why would I go to Brazil? Makes no sense. Why? Rationally, it truly didn't make any sense. But Tio, my dear friend, said, do you feel excited about it? Do you see that it's a sign to say yes to life? To say yes to adventure? You can always go back. What's the worst that can happen? Do you feel excited? Do you feel curious? I was like, yeah, I am. I have no idea what to expect. I have no idea what I will learn, but I know that I need to say yes. I felt it. I felt it in my heart. It's a hell freaking yes. It's a complete unknown, diving into uncertainty, into the unknown. But I decided to be intentionally surrendering to life's surprises. And that is what this is all about. That is what life is all about. Being like, okay, instead of being rational, instead of making sense, instead of common sense, because common sense would say, why would you do that? It's too far. It's far away from your family. You don't know this person. You don't know anything about Brazil. You don't even speak the local language. Why would you go there? But instead of common sense, you're like, you know what? Instead of being rational for once, I will listen to my heart. Instead of making decisions based on calculations and mathematics, I will base my decision on my intuition, on my gut feeling. Instead of doing things in a linear way, I will do something completely out of normality. I will do something that nobody would ever expect from me. Even myself. I'm open to surprising myself. And you know what? I'll just say yes for the sake of saying yes to life, to adventure, to awesomeness, to surprises. Simply because it feels freaking awesome. Not because I expect anything in particular, not because I think that's going to bring me anywhere in particular. It's just freaking awesome. So why not? Why the hell not? What's the worst that can happen? Right? And so, this is what it means to stop living a life that is a template. This is what it means to stop living a life that is predictable. This is what it means to stop living a life like a Groundhog Day. Where like, I know what is going to happen tomorrow. I'm going to wake up and do my routine. I'll read a newspaper. I'll have a cup of coffee. I'll have a conversation with my partner. I'll go to a yoga class or the gym. I'll take a shower, get ready, do work, have lunch, etc. Day's over. Very predictable, right? And then one day you realize, oh, it's been exactly the same throughout my entire life. What did I do? I was just recreating the same reality over and over and over again. I'm pretty much the same person as I was 10, 20, 30 years ago. What did I do? I went on some vacations, took some nice pictures, spent quality time with the people that I love. That's great. Did accomplish a few cool things in my professional life. That's awesome. Built some great friendships, relationships, partnerships. That's brilliant. But you know what? All of that was so freaking predictable. It's a template. I kind of knew that it was going to happen. And I look back and I'm like, what do I remember? Do I remember awesome memories that were like out of this world? Something that blew even my own mind away? I was that crazy to do that thing? I was that crazy to say yes to that? I was that crazy to jump off the cliff? I was that crazy to skydive, jump out of a plane? I was that crazy to jump into water from that high? I was that crazy to go and say yes to, I don't know, give a speech on the stage, give a TED talk or something? I was that crazy to quit my job? I was that crazy to start my own business? I was that crazy to end that marriage of 20 years because it didn't click anymore? Because I wanted more? I was that crazy to bet on myself? I was that crazy to live radically self, to embody who I'm meant to become? I was that crazy to love myself enough to live life that is not a template. I was that crazy to believe that I can create a magical life where every single day is unique. Yesterday I was asked by this gentleman, do you even have a routine? Do you have a routine? No, I don't. In my reality, routines don't exist. In my reality, what exists is only routine. Routine. Only I exist in my reality. And I am ever changing, ever evolving. And that is why what I invite you to experience too. Living your life with a pinch of surprise every day. Planning a few things, sure. Scheduling things, sure. Having responsibilities, sure. But in between all of that, allowing yourself to be surprised, even shocked. You're like, oh my God, this is what's happening. Holy smokes. Holy mouse, as I now started saying. Hi, Pedro. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Tracy. My only routine is not having one. Exactly. Exactly. Live with life. Engage with life. When life invites you, say yes. Hi, Gaurav. Say yes to life. Every single morning, I look through the window and I notice something. And sometimes it's some beautiful birds that invite me to just have a look and appreciate them. And sometimes I notice monkeys passing by and I'm like, oh, I want to see them. I want to engage. I want to observe. And sometimes I feel a calling to go to the beach. And sometimes I feel I want to move my body. And sometimes I just want to play with my dogs. And sometimes I have things to do on my schedule and I do it and I show up and I go live and I speak to you and I have a call with a client and I love it. I engage with life. And sometimes I feel heavy and something is hovering over my head like a cloud. And I'm like, okay, let's see what's this all about. Where is this all coming from? How do I feel? Frustrated? Sad? Angry? Disconnected? Resistant? What's happening? Let's investigate. What is happening? Am I feeling out of alignment? I'm out of alignment. Why is that? Well, because, I don't know. I feel like I have too many obligations and I'm not living my life from pure inspiration, from wanting and desiring to do things. Instead, I feel like I have to do it and it feels like a prison. Okay, let's see what I can do about it. This is how life is supposed to be, where you dance with life. It's not a template. It's not a copy paste. It's not a Groundhog Day. You feel. You learn how to feel the subtleties. You learn how to listen deeply. You're being. You're not just constantly doing things because you're used to, because it's your habit. You're becoming so much more tuned in to you, to your soul. You're more connected to yourself and other people and the world as a whole. You feel the heart pumping. You feel it. Whatever is happening, you're like, it feels great. I know what's happening. I know what I feel called to do. I know the inspiration is coming. The channel is open. I feel called to write a book. I feel called to call my friend. I feel called to talk to this person. I feel called to send them that email. I feel a calling. What is your calling? Like back in May 2023, when my dear friend said, why don't you come to Brazil? That was a calling. That was a call. And I answered. It's like, yeah, I'm listening. So what is your calling? Right in this very moment, what do you feel called to do? Where do you feel you're called to surrender to life? How can you surrender to life? How can you experiment through surrender? Intentional surrender. Intentional surrender. What does that mean? Being intentional with saying only yes to things that feel like hell freaking yes. Oh my Jesus. It's freaking amazing. Like, yes, please. That sounds and feels a little bit crazy, but it's freaking awesome. I want it. I want it so bad. That investment is so huge. Energetically, time-wise, money-wise, whatever it is, that investment is huge. It really is demanding. But holy shit, it's so freaking excited. I know I will benefit from it. I know I will come out of that experience so freaking much better, happier, more powerful, a better leader, a better person, a more aligned person with more peace in my mind, with more love in my heart. So of course it's worth it. Of course it's worth the investment. Being intentional means knowing what you want and listening to your heart. Knowing what you desire. Living a life with passion. Do you live your life with passion? Do you wake up every single morning feeling truly alive? It's like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm alive. Oh my God, I'm alive. How freaking awesome. I am alive. What do I want to create today? Who do I want to be? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? Who do I want to spend my time with? So much gratitude. I'm so in awe of life. I need to pinch myself. This is what happens when you live this way as an intentional surrender experiment. Your entire life becomes magical. Your relationships become effortless and beautiful and fulfilling and loving. Your work, your art, your craft, your business become infused with your essence. It's exciting, it's inspiring, it's awesome, it makes a difference. It's 11:11 right now here in Brazil. When you live that magical life, you're no longer stuck here. It no longer is all about making freaking sense. It doesn't have to make sense. Why does it have to make sense to begin with? What is sense? It's just a part of your brain. It's just a set of beliefs. It's just a set of programs. It's like your computer filled with programs. It's a software. You can reinstall different beliefs, different thoughts, different programs. You can become a clean conduit for intelligence, higher intelligence, and live life fully instead of feeling like you have to control every single thing. Like those clients that I mentioned, you can't believe it. Both of these individuals in their freaking 50s, very super high positions, C-level positions in the corporate world. You're like, you know what? It's so freaking magical to run my business or to lead my teams from a place of my heart, from a place of intuition. Why? Because everything happens just magically. I don't try to control everything. I just go with the flow intentionally, and it's just so effortless, and it's so much more fun. And things just happen, and investors come, and my team just does things without me even asking them to do things. And it's like things just unfold naturally. It's just, it's amazing. And then their relationships also improve, and then they feel happier because there's nothing to control anymore. The only thing that you need to do is respond to life and take full ownership and responsibility for what's happening internally. Instead of feeling like you're being emotionally thrown around, like being in the washing machine, you're like, you know what? I've got this. I know what's happening here. I choose differently. I'm the boss here. I am the one leading by example. I am the one deciding how things unfold. Because I'm awesome. What a difference it makes to live this way. And like I just shared these two examples, you can do it at any age, in any circumstance, whatever you do in life, whether you are a professional in the corporate world, in the C-level, in whatever level, either you are an employee, either you run your own business, maybe you're a coach, whatever it is that you do, it doesn't matter. You're an artist maybe. You can live this magical life when you intentionally surrender, when you dance with life, when you play with life, when you play this thing called life. Hi, Nuno. So, that is what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Reach out to me if you have any questions. And see you in the next live. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. I love you so much.